Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'll be setting up my 2026 planner and journal, or as the kids call it these days, my journaling ecosystem, planning ecosystem. Anyway, I'll be setting up my planner and journal in the video while I talk to you in the voiceover about the lessons learned and what I'll be doing for next year. Next year is in like 3 days, but sure, next year. I am setting up my Take a Note A6 because my planner in this year has gone through many changes. In January, I started with two planners, one for work and one for personal. For work, I used the Hobonichi weekly supplement since I transitioned from STEM, from working in a lab to working in an office job. And what I've learned quickly in the office job was everyone works with Microsoft Teams, everything is digital. It was easier to work and journal, well, not journal, to plan digitally in Microsoft OneNote. In OneNote. OneNote works really great for me. No complaints. I haven't tried Notion. I'm not allowed to use different software. So I stayed with Microsoft OneNote. It works fine for me. No complaints there. But that's why I started with the Hobonichi Weekly Supplement. Very little space, I could track the bare necessities. However, in February, I was told my contract would not get extended, and that meant I would have been out of a job by the end of that month. And all of a sudden, I needed a new planner to track my job hunting, lessons learned, plans. Life was chaotic. So I went online, obviously, because if you don't have a job, you don't want to spend a lot of money. And the only thing I could find on sale that was decent was the Hobonichi Weeks Mega. And I was like, this is it. I've always wanted to try Hobonichi Weeks. Let's do it. And I like it. I really like the layout. I find that the layout works for me, especially the note pages on the back. And that's also a lesson learned. Note pages in my planner were amazing. As soon as I thought of something, I could just write it down. I could just flip to the back of my planner and write it down. Revolutionary. I never thought that I needed this, but it was lovely. I didn't use that many note pages. I think I'm 50 because it was Hobonichi Weeks Mega. I did not need the Mega, but it was on sale. It was on sale, so worth it. So yes, I had the Hobonichi Weeks Mega. I found a new job, and then I had again nothing to write in my planner because I was doing everything digitally. So now let's talk about my personal journal. No, personal planner. I started the year in the traveler's company passport size that I converted to rings. I was convinced that the rings would work for me. I lasted 2 weeks and I gave up. Then I switched to doing bullet journaling. Guys, that's another lesson learned. And I knew this one because I had done bullet journaling for many years before. Bullet journaling and my brain do not like each other. It doesn't work for me. I like a very structured weekly layout. I want my week to look like a week. I don't like daily planning either. I need to see almost the whole week or at least half of a week in one glance because my brain just works in weeks. And yeah, bullet journaling did not work for me. So somewhere between starting my new job and having a personal planning system that didn't work for me made me migrate my personal planning into my work planner, quote unquote work planner. And that's another lesson learned this year that my life has changed so much from working in STEM to working a corporate job that I actually only need one planner for both. because the few work tasks that need to end up in my personal planner are actually very important. Those are often the days that I have to do a customer visit or have to go to the office on a day I normally would not go to the office. So it impacts my personal life, and having that information in my personal planner made sense. I don't keep my work tasks in my planner because I do that digitally at work. When I close off my laptop, I'm done with work. It's lovely. Those were my lessons learned, and that meant that for this year, I am actually in a Take Note A6, which you see me set up. I'm using the Wild Pencil stickers. It's a artist that I discovered very recently. I really like their style, especially the watercolor. And I went to their store, I bought a bunch of stickers and a postcard, and that's what I'm using to decorate my planner. Not my journal. My journal is all over the place with ephemera and stuff. But my planner, I like to have a theme at the start of the year for it. And I really like these stickers. Another thing that I changed is digitizing house tasks. So previously, I used to write vacuum today, do laundry on Thursday, do this. None of that anymore. I have an app that now reminds me and my partner to do house tasks. It's scheduled, it divides the tasks equally between the two of us. It is so nice. I am reminded to do stuff. I don't have to think about it to write it down. There is no when did I last clean the dishwasher filter. Nope, the app knows, the app tracks it, and it reminds me to do it every couple of days. It's lovely. I don't need a planner for that anymore. It has taken away so much mental work that I was doing because I was always thinking, oh, when is the last time I did this? And do I need to do this? Now it's all done. It's all handled for me. It's really great. So what will I be using my planner for, you ask? Well, I have been having some health issues for the past couple of years, so I want to use my planner not only to plan my days, as in stuff that isn't handled by apps, but also to track what I eat, the symptoms I'm experiencing, and just have it all in one place. No fuss, no making it aesthetic for Instagram, just purely functional, and that's it. And obviously, I will add some stickers and some nice ink because one must make life fun like that. You know, that's necessary. The Take Note doesn't have that many note pages, but the couple it has, I haven't really decided what to do with most. Well, the three of them that are left. The first one I'll be using as a reference list. There are some things I always look up. For example, the dimensions of A6, A5, and A4. For some reason, I'm always Googling what are the dimensions in millimeters. So I thought, why not write it in my planner and always have it there so I don't have to Google it? It's just there. I am placing my planner in this Hobonichi Mina Perhonen cover that I bought several years ago. It's the anemone. Anyway, it will be in the captions correctly written. I removed the pen loops. I don't fight with the Hobonichi pen loops, and I've used this cover for quite some time. It still looks great, and I'm so excited to be back in it. It's generally my favorite cover. I might have mentioned this before, but I really love bookmarks. Since I was setting this planner up in December, that's the 25th, I'm bookmarking January and the first week of that I'll be in this planner, which is the current week that we're in. But as soon as I start to use this planner, which is, well, from today onwards, I will bookmark February so I know what happens in February. I'm using the monthly view as a what will happen that month. So I have the birthdays noted, and I'm writing personal events, so stuff that I plan in, like hairdressers and stuff in pencil. So in case that moves, I don't have to cross it through with a pen. I can just erase it and move it to the correct date. The next thing I'll be setting up is my journal. I'm starting the year off in the Travelers Company regular size using a Serica Studio insert and a Take a Note record series. Why am I starting with the record series, you might ask? Because this is completely new to me. I really like a monthly layout, not how I use it in the planner, as in this is what will happen, but as an overview of this is what has happened. This is what I did. This is when I sewed my seats for my balcony. This is when I finished this knitted project. I really like seeing that in a monthly overview, and I already knew I wasn't going to draw out a monthly overview in my journal. I decided to buy this record series because it comes with a monthly layout and with a bunch of note pages that I could use for my collections. Like I track my movies, and you'll see. There's quite some things I track. We'll get there when we get there. This pattern paper that you see, I scanned the first page of the EU Floral Florist calendar for next year. I really like the slogan. It was life can fix life, your scars will become your stars. And I thought it was so fitting for what I have in mind for next year. And I've always wanted this planner. Well, always. As soon as I found out of not planner. Oh, calendar. As soon as I found out about this calendar, I knew I wanted it. So when I received it, I really liked the front page. I scanned it and I duplicated the stars pattern to create this whole page of pattern stars, and I covered the Take Note Records insert with it. I didn't like the burgundy color. It was too burgundy. I like burgundy, just not this specific color. Anyway, that brings me to the first lesson I learned for journaling, and that is my journaling should allow for flexibility in layouts. And being in a Take Note A5 this year for my journaling, the layout is fixed. You have half a page for a day. And I used to journal in the passport size. I am a person who writes one line per day and calls that journaling. That's how I live my life. If I can write less words to describe my day, I will find a way to do it. So having an A5 or half an A5 for my journaling was a lot of space. And that in itself is fine. But I found myself limited in the sense that some days I just wanted more space, and some days I wanted less space. And when I make the layout myself, I can do that. But in a planner, that just doesn't work. So I really like being in the Take a Note A5, and I will get to that soon. But for next year, we're back to Traveler's Company system because that's just flexible. And we love that for journaling only, not for planning. You already heard that rant. So what I also learned is that the A5 was just way too much space for me. I I definitely don't need that much space. And if I do, then I can just flexibly do that in a undated, unstructured insert. Another lesson I learned from being in the Hobonichi and Take Note for the past couple of years is grid paper. I was fan blank paper. I was team blank paper. I love blank paper. It's so versatile. You can do whatever you want. You can do the same on grid paper, I found out, without having to mess with layouts like what are they called? Pencil boards, so you can see a grid underneath or lines. It's just perfect. But the grid has to be the right size. A5, not A5, 5 millimeter grids do not work for me. They're way too big. but 4 millimeter, 3 point something, and the Econote does 2 millimeter grids as well. It works really well for me. My natural handwriting is around 1 millimeter, so 3 point something allows me to write 2 lines per grid square, and 2 millimeter allows me to do 1 line. So those sizes work very well for me, and I love it. I love grid paper. I'm converted. I also found out that I am very happy with my journaling style. I'm a minimalist at heart and in my journaling, and I'm very comfortable with it. I found out that I don't feel the need anymore to branch out. When I started journaling, I felt that I had to try all of the styles, challenge myself, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And I don't feel that anymore. I just feel so comfortable with how I'm journaling, and it's bringing me peace and joy. And it was such a nice discovery this year that I can just journal my way, and that's okay. What I also learned this year is that being able to take a pen, especially a fountain pen, and just write in the journal is underrated. Because the past couple of years, I made my own insert using artisanal paper, and artisanal paper is stunning. But there's just something about not having to worry about feathering or about bleed through. You can just write. And that's exactly why I went for the Sarika's Studio insert. I haven't used them myself. This will be my first year. I haven't pen tested it either, but I've heard good things about it, and they're made with Tomy River. I'm not sponsored before you ask. But I thought to myself, this insert sounds like the perfect insert for just taking a pen and writing. If I don't want to decorate and I just want to vent my feelings, I can, and I don't have to worry about anything. I hope this paper doesn't bleed through. I hope. I hope. But let's not jinx it. I will knock on wood and it will be fine. Another fun discovery I made this year was that sticking to color themes is also fun if you use complementary colors. Now, for the past couple of years, I chose a color every month. For example, green, and I would do everything in green: the ephemera, the ink. But this year, I was tired of it, so I played around a bit. Like, okay, I use green, but I can also combine it with red and with purple and with this. And I had so much fun finding new color combinations that just work very well. And I definitely want to explore it next year. Maybe even more than 2 colors, maybe 3 or 4 colors. Now, that's not a promise. Don't look at my specs and be like, she only used 1 color. I'm not saying it's a must. I think it's a nice lesson learned. And I just want to continue exploring it that next year. You know, no pressure. It's just gonna be fun and chill. I did consider modifying the Serica Studio insert by adding some vellum pages because I do love me some vellum pages. And the vellum that I use is fountain pen ink friendly. But in the end, I got too lazy and I decided not to. So there's no vellum in this insert yet. I might still change my mind. I'm ripping up the first page of the calendar, the EU floral calendar, and using it as decoration for my insert. I had this great idea that And I don't know if I will adhere to it because it's just an idea and the year hasn't started yet. But my idea was to incorporate these stars on all of my inserts for next year. So there's a consistent theme across this year. As I told you, when I saw this calendar and I read the slogan of Life Can Fix Life and Your Scars Will Become Your Stars, I felt that it really captured the struggles I've been going through the past couple of years with my health. And maybe for next year, I should just accept what what my life is now, and maybe having my scars is not too bad. It brought me a new job with really nice people that I love, a new field that I work in that I also enjoy a lot. There's still days that I miss my old research, like I miss them. I miss working in the lab, but you know, life happens and that's okay. And when one door closes, another one opens. That's very cheesy. I should not include that. Okay, now let's flip through the complete setup for next year. Starting with my planner, take a note A6 in the anemone cover. I pasted the poem from the EU calendar on the pencil board since it will help absorb whatever ink that might still be wet when I write. I am tracking my work hours and work location in the monthly. Only for January, I will see how this evolves. In the Gantt chart in front, I'll be tracking my workout and some symptoms that I'm experiencing. In the months, I have noted in black ink all the birthdays and holidays and national holidays, and in pencil, which you may not be able to see, some events that I already know that will happen. The weeklies are still blank because, well, today is the 29th and I'm officially in this planner. And in the back, I have my reference page with the different paper sizes. The rest of the pages, I'll figure out what to use. And I'm using Hobonichi Grid supplements, I think is what they're called, as the extra note pages that I would love to have. And another wild pencil sticker as decoration. I'm also in an A5 journal that I embroidered the cover for 2025 to 2029. It's a DIY 5-year journal in Astrology B6. I'm doing an entry every single day on a different part of the page, and I will not flip through this completely because, well, it's my A5 first personal, but you can see I use a sticker and an entry on a different location in the page. Excited to do that for one more year. And then we have my journal starting off in the regular size for 2026, but I'm also excited to be back in Passport at some point. I have the Sarica Studio insert. I have the words as the quote sticker on front, and I decorated the insert with January from the EU calendar. And then finally, we have the Take a Note Record Series insert. It says 2026 Moments. And this is the quote that's on the calendar. Life can fix life. Your scars will become your stars. I kept the decorations black and white. I did not date the calendar. I will do that as I write the entries. And in the after the monthlies, I have a list section starting with my 2026 intentions. Still blank. I will fill it out if at one point. My creative projects using a sticker that I made. Well, I designed it. The sticker is someone printed that for me. The items that I bought, I'm using a wish list stamp, but it says, but then I bought it on the bottom. And then finally, what I'll be tracking is my media log, movies, podcasts, videos, music. Everything will go in there, and the empty pages will be TBD. These are the something of mine date stickers that I'll be using to date my journal. I really dislike writing dates, so thought this would make my life easier. Thank you so much for joining me in this video for this setup. I hope you have a wonderful year change, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Love you guys. Bye bye.